Hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Jobu, and as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, and subscribing to the Jobu Sports Report. And hopefully, I actually have this thing ready to go, and we hopefully have it right. Um, I hope you guys have been able to bear with me because I've been actually working on the software, trying to get it right and everything else. Hopefully, the stream is a little bit better than it's been. Hopefully, a nice clear picture, and hopefully I've got everything sound queued up and everything else. Just put Jobu link in your bio. Yeah, I forgot to. Again, still setting this stuff up. It's been another one of those long days. Um, yeah, Jerry Macklin has definitely gone to the Ravens. I saw that. What's happening, Matt? Tyrone, Frank, Ernie, Jesus, L. George, Billy Sarducci. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me make sure I've got everything going on in here. Hopefully the picture's real good. It's lagging behind, so picture looks good. Glad to hear that. Okay, let me do something right here real quick. Okay, so how's everybody doing this Monday night? Jobu definitely needs a refill. Forgive me, I'm an hour late and just got back literally from picking up the wife from the train station. She had a little meeting she had to take care of in New York, but she's back and I'm back with you guys. Hopefully you guys are doing good. And the Dallas Cowboys, of course, are always on our mind. And I'm not seeing a picture here. Interesting. This is like the fifth alert. Sorry, fifth alert. Okay, well, what I found out is, okay, guys, I'm old. I'm really, really old. So understand that when it comes to technology, I'm screwing it up. So I went from one computer to another computer, which has a i7 core and everything else. So redoing the software from one to the other. Didn't realize the hotkey is set as the back space button to start the stream. So while I'm sitting here typing around and all that, backspacing and stuff like I'm normally doing, automatically it's just kicking it over to live streaming here and not knowing that it's live streaming. So I'm still working on stuff, and I'll get a text alert that the whole thing is up and running and all that. So bear with me. Understand I'm old and shit just happens. But I'm actually not seeing a picture. Are you guys getting a picture? How you doing, Jackie? Nice to see you. David, what's going on? Old and Technology Channel. Seriously, Blue Star. I'm 50, soon to be 52 years old, and dealing with the computer and all of the internet and live streaming and stuff. This is all news to me. David, I'm hoping to be there in Oxnard actually around the 10th, work permitting, and hopefully get to see a couple of practices and see the Ram game. Everything is working fine. Strange. I'm just not getting a picture on. Okay, so we have a little bit of new stuff here with the channel. I was telling you guys about the gimbal I actually have here for my phone, which is actually making like really great video stuff. So we're constantly working on trying to make this a little bit better for everybody. And so one of those things that we're going to start doing here, this is for you guys.
And the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Boy, that's the story of my life.
So again, I've got these different hotkeys. I've got to learn which one is which and stuff. So from now on, when we get our super chats, we will be going, how about them Cowboys? This will be a shout out to you guys for supporting the channel and everything else. So some interesting things that happened with the Cowboys. I think it's almost comical about Ryan Switzer. Ryan Switzer was actually mistaken for a kicker. Now I'm trying to understand what security guy who works in Dallas doesn't know who the players are. I mean, seriously. I mean, come on. A kicker? I mean, how insulting is that to, Ryan Switzer? Although, when you look at pictures of Ryan Switzer, I think he could be passed off as a fan trying to get, an autograph or something. I mean, the guy's a tiny little teeny dude, and it would be interesting to have seen all that. I would have loved to have seen that. But looking at some of your thoughts here, yeah, the security must have been really bad. Because what's funny is when we were coming back from the Super Bowl, we were in Houston, and we ended up driving and flying out of Dallas. So I stopped off at the Star, and when we stopped at the Star, I wanted to get inside to take a few pictures and videos and all that. And one of the security guys was nice enough to, have a conversation with us. And I said, well, hi, I'm Mark Holmes, and this is Joe Boo, and I just want to see if we can do something. I know who he is. He said, I can't let you in, though, unless you have a pass or you have somebody, a contact you're seeing. So then he brought up another security guy who was his higher up. And I said, hey, how you doing? I'm Mark, and he's like, I know who you are. And I was like, damn. So you guys, the security guys know who Joe Boo is, but they didn't know who Ryan Switzer is? I think that's kind of funny. Nice Rodney Dangerfield. Okay, well, I never get any respect. And Decker, well, here's the thing. The thing with Revis, Revis is due about $6 million. And basically, if you brought Revis in, you're going to end up paying that $6 million. So I'm not sure you want to pay Darrelle Revis $6 million, and I don't think he has that much left in the deck. As far as Eric Decker goes, I was going to do a video about him because here's the thing with Eric Decker. That's another one of those tales of free agents, big-name free agents that sign that play well in one place because of the situation they're in. He looked great in Denver, although to me he dropped a whole lot of passes. When he had Peyton Manning, who was still in his heyday, passing to him. There's a big difference having Peyton Manning pass to you and, catching 85 passes as the number 2 receiver. It's a wholly another thing to have, the Jets organization, and you're now the number one receiver on the team, having to be the guy. And he had, I believe, $15 million guaranteed. He was there for 3 years. I think they still have a $3 million cap hit for him. So it's one of those cases where free agency kind of went bad. And last year, I think he only had 6 catches. So, yeah, I'm not sure we need an Eric Decker. I was never impressed by him that much. But, that's me. And what do I know? I'm an old guy with a voodoo doll. Well, Brandon Marshall's the number 1. But still, again, they let Brandon Marshall go too. They're realizing what you realize a lot of times. And I know I said I wanted Calais Campbell for the Cowboys. So, go ahead and beat me up on that one. But more times than not, the big-name free agents are basically there for 2 years. And when they leave, they're leaving a big cap hit behind them. Take a look at a guy like Nnamdi Asomugha. Basically got $25 million from the Eagles. Didn't play worth crap in their system. Hainsworth, laying around on the field. Another guy who, got big money to play for the Redskins, or basically lay on the field. And 2 years later, boom, he's gone. So more times than not, you don't get a guy. Now, from time to time, you'll get a Peyton Manning that'll get to the Super Bowl, or DeMarcus Ware. But more times than not, you get the guy that really 2 years and he's gone. The interesting thing, and like I always say, is this is bargain basement time. Because Eric Decker is not going to be the last guy, big name guy that you see out there that's being cut. Jimmy Macklin, he just signed with the Ravens. You're going to see a lot more of these guys over the next couple of weeks that are going to be on the streets that now may have their team that still owes them some money. You may be able to get, a decent deal on some of these guys that still have some stuff left in the tank. I still think, Green Caesar 55. What do I think the Cowboys could give up for a trade for Sherman? Well, here's a good thing for the Cowboys. I like to say that the Cowboys are in the best position that they have been in a long time. And I'm not talking just because of Dak and Zeke, because that's fantastic. But from a financial standpoint, where they are right now. The fact that we have finally gotten out of cap hell. Remember back when we were $26 million over the cap, back in like 2013, and basically we kept restructuring, trying to get some money and just kicking the can down the road. We kept making crazy deals like for Miles Austin after one good season, even though he always had a career of being injured. Marion Barber, who was really a part-time running back, $54 million contract. Jay Ratcliffe. So we kept doing all these great deals because Jerry Jones was trying to reward guys that he thought were going to be the real deal. But unfortunately in football, that's not the way you do it.
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Thank you very much, Billy. That How About Them Cowboys is for you, buddy. That's our new bell ringing. Stream is looking good. Love the new intro. How About Them Cowboys? Thank you, Billy. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. I literally came in the front door, ran downstairs, forgot to bring my wallet down here, but we're going to put an IOU in there for you. For the good old Joe Boobs Man Cave, as well as supporting the show, because all the stuff that I do in here, you guys know I'm constantly trying to improve and make sure that this show is the best show out there. I want to bring you guys something different from everybody else, and I want it to be the best thing it can possibly be. So back to what I was saying about the Cowboys. Right now, they've gotten away from doing all those crazy contracts for guys and things like that, and they're letting guys walk. Because here's the thing. When you let guys walk, if they're a good enough player and you don't replace them, you're getting a pick. So when DeMarco Murray left, a lot of people said, oh man, you got to re-sign that guy, But that was $23 million. But basically, him leaving was the reason why we ended up drafting Ezekiel Elliott. And with that compensatory pick, that pick that we got because DeMarco Murray left and we didn't have somebody comparable sign, that's the pick we used for Dak Prescott. So what's really cool is next year we're going to get 4 more picks. It'll probably be maybe a 4th, 2 fifths, and maybe a 7th round pick. But that's 4 extra picks. So we're in line. We ended up losing 1. We're in line to have 10 picks this year. So you could conceivably say, okay, we can give up a 3rd round pick for Sherman and see if they bite. Because I think right now, Seattle wants to get rid of him. I think he wants to get out of Dodge. And, they were trying to get a number 1 pick and everything else for him, but that wasn't even realistic. You might be able to easily get him for a 2nd, but I think maybe a 3rd round you might have a chance. But the thing about it I look at is, yeah, he's had some injuries. He's getting up there a little bit in age. But I think you need a leadership guy, a guy that's going to kick somebody's behind on the field on a regular. But that's just me. That's my opinion on that. And I think that's a guy who might end up helping you take another step because you get that veteran presence out there, a guy who knows what it's like to win, a guy who's got a ring, and a guy who will be pissed off when you pay Seattle to give you kind of a little extra bump. So I think that he would be worthwhile, much more worthwhile than, say, Darrelle Revis. Darrelle Revis, I really don't think has that much in the tank. I saw somebody in here said that they've been a subscriber since 800, and I wanted to make sure Super Chat wants to know what's in my wallet. Right at the moment, I don't think there's very much. I think there's more in Joe Boo's jar right here than anything else. Not too much, Corey. That's cool as fuck. What's cool as fuck, Diego? Kristen, I really do think that Sherman could have a great impact on our defense. Awuzie, I'm hearing, is actually playing really, really well of the draft picks that we've had as far as corners and stuff. But these guys still have a ways to go. And again, you get a veteran out there who knows what they're doing. That can help not just these young guys. It can help a Byron Jones. Byron Jones, I think, is a great athlete and a great player, but he's not very vocal, and I'm not sure he's taking on a leadership role. Richard Sherman will go ahead and take up that space and get people motivated and teach them. So for 2 years, you keep that guy, get your guys, your young pups primed and everything else. You shift a little bit of balance of power away from Seattle to Dallas. I think it would be a good thing. Now, will it happen? I don't know. But I still think that Richard Sherman will not be in Seattle come the beginning of the season. Will E. Can't wait till I get 1,000,000 subs. Oh boy, can't wait till I get 1,000,000 subs. Yeah, okay. Yeah, 1,000,000 subs. Yeah, cool one. That'll be the day. I tell you what, I would love to have 1,000,000 people subscribe. But you know what? I'm happy for the 92 of you that are actually watching right now. And anything more than that is just gravy. There's Sarah. I knew she had to be on here at some point. Sherman was 21. Well, how much stock can you really take in the top 100 list when J.J. Watt was, what, 30 something, and he didn't even play last season? So, congratulations on Joe Boo's perm. Okay. Can't wait. Yeah. Hopefully we're only about 300 or so away from 10,000. Hopefully we can get there maybe in another week or so. It would be great to see that happen. Scandrick needs to be praised. Well, the Cowboys were looking to try and do something at the draft, and they've kind of backed away with that, and they're trying to have that kumbaya moment because they're realizing that the rookies are looking okay, but they're not sure that they're going to be ready for the season, that they're going to need some more time working and stuff like that. So you still need a veteran out there, and I think Scandrick is now seeing the writing on the wall, which in a way can be to your advantage because he's basically auditioning for his next job. He realizes that, okay, probably after this year, I won't be with Dallas. So that means I got to play hellacious this year for somebody else to want to pay me next year. So I believe in that good old hunger theory. Right now you look at guys like Bryce Butler who are out there working and putting it out on Instagram and things like that, how hard they're working, trying to get in shape and out there battling. That is, to me, key for any team because when you get guys that know, all I got to do is show up camp. I got a position like, I hate to keep using Albert Hainsworth, but he knew I got a big fat paycheck. I'm going to be a starter whether I practice or not. You don't get that much out of them. That was part of the culture that we had with Rolando McClain, with Greg Hardy. They knew, hey, we're the fat cats. We don't have to practice that hard. I don't feel like working out today. Rolando McClain, a guy with super immense talent, but just didn't have it up here to keep it up on the field and didn't work out that much. So more times than not, you heard that, oh, Rolando McClain is in the locker room. Oh, he's working out on the side. He's not out there practicing, busting his ass. He just wants to show up for the games. And I'm not for that. I'm for guys that end up getting out there, doing the work and everything else, practicing with their teammates, getting cohesiveness, and are ready to roll. Get those guys that are going to fall in line. And that's where some of the guys that we talk about out there, they're not disciplined, team-oriented guys. I want people that are not only playing for themselves in that big contract, but are playing for the team. Joe Boone knows what's best for the Cowboys. Well, we appreciate that, Dat. Tyrone Crawford is another guy who, that's right now looking at the writing on the wall and realizing, I've been injured a bit. I've got to go ahead and stay healthy. I've got to play well because if I'm not going to be here, I've got to get a job someplace else, and I need to be in shape, ready to rock and roll. So you're getting a lot of these guys that are getting hungry right now that realize I got to do more than what I've been doing, or else I just won't be here. And there we go. It finally popped up. Scandrick is old and injury prone. Well, 2 years ago, he played really well. Injuries can happen to anybody. I mean, it's funny that you say that Scandrick is old and injury prone, but people still want Tony Romo back. So, Joe Boo's an alcoholic. Okay. Did not see Odell there, although I haven't watched any games or not. James Snyder, hold it. You got a question for me. I bet an Eagles fan $20 that the Cowboys Eagle game she lost and I won. She hasn't paid, so what do I do? James? What do you do? Let me think about that. So, James, tell me what she looked like. Yeah, if she's an Eagle fan, you know that she's definitely not looking for a ring. So maybe if she's single and she's hot, maybe you just want to ask her out. Just saying. So again, playing with some new tricks and stuff in here. I just got to get used to using all of them. So that way, just something different. So yeah, ask her out, man. That's all I can tell you. Well, you got to see what Byron Jones to corner and Awuzie to safety, strong side. I'd actually like to see Xavier doing some playing because that's a playmaker right there. I definitely want to see him in the lineup, but I have not heard much about him in practice. That's the thing that makes me wonder. Another person I'm beginning to wonder about too is Taco. How is Taco actually doing out there? Because we've actually had Demontre Moore actually taking some first team snaps over him. And another person I wanted to do a video on, I want to get some highlights and stuff on him. But I wonder, with Demontre Moore, could he be the next George Selvey for us? And I know you guys are thinking, George Selvey, he went to the Giants and didn't do jack. But yeah. But here's the thing. George Selvey was with Atlanta, Jacksonville, Tampa, and I'm trying to think of what other team that he was with. But in those 4 years, those first 4 years, he had 3 sacks. And he was a guy, when we signed him, nobody cared about him. George Selvey. Who the hell is George Selvey? But getting underneath Rod Martinelli, excuse me, I didn't mean to put that T in there. He has a way of taking guys that are down here that have been journeymen, the guys that have not done much, and getting them up here. Because I believe he had 7 or 8 sacks there and played pretty damn well for us, got a fat payday with the Giants and didn't do jack with them. David Irving's another one who was a practice squad player and started taking him to go to a whole nother level. Now, hopefully, after the suspension, he'll take off where he was ending last year. But you can definitely see the potential, and you can see how those guys are coming through there. Stephen Pia is another guy who played really well under Rod Martinelli when he was in Chicago, went to the Redskins, that dumpster fire, and then, of course, to Siberia, Cleveland, and played. So I don't really count what they did in those 2 places because not too many people returned from those places intact. I'm interested to see how that guy does back underneath Rod Martinelli. But Demontre Moore is another one of those guys who's been kind of around the league. He's big, he's tall. He's got a nice build on him. He's actually pretty quick. With the right coaching, you never know. He may end up being a 7-8 sack guy. And if you can get that, you get DeMarcus Lawrence, who's been looking really good after having the back surgery, that starts playing well. If Taco can give you anything as a rookie, if David Irving, who actually him being out for 4 games is going to give some time for some of these other guys to develop, and it'll give you some fresher legs later in the season. All of a sudden, you've got a nice rotation of guys with potential that if you can bring them together right, you might get lightning in a bottle. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get with those guys. Read my super chat, Mark. South of did I miss South? I didn't see it. I see Billy. Oh, so I'm sorry, my man. Actually, somebody earlier today on a video asked me where I got my Dak Prescott jersey, and actually, it's my son's Dak Prescott jersey. I got it for him last year before it was cool. That's right. I ordered a Dak Prescott jersey when it was my son's birthday, which was in July. I couldn't find a Dak Prescott. The only place I could get one is I went to Mike Moss, South of Heaven 88, and said, I need a Dak Prescott jersey because I can't find one. So he ended up making that jersey. In fact, I got that jersey signed by Dak Prescott. So we got that jersey back before it was cool. But all of my jerseys, take a look at 17, and no, it's not for Jason Garrett. This is actually Cowboy Joe Boo. It was custom made by Mike Moss, number 17 for the 17 season. And I've been buying jerseys from him since, I think, 2012. Demarcus Ware. I got a Tony Romo, Dez Bryant. My son even got a choice one, believe it or not. I was kind of like, you might not want to get that one. So if you guys do want to get a jersey, definitely go to my man Mike Moss on Facebook or at South of Heaven 88 on YouTube, and he can get you anything imaginable. He's even got a jersey taco with tacos on it. So be sure to check him out. Another person to make sure you check out, and we have him here from time to time when I'm blessed enough to be able to get him, and he can get away from taking care of his daughter and stuff like that. Is Law Nation. Law Nation, there's a whole lot of film breakdown and everything else that I would love to be able to do. I just don't have enough time between my day job, my wife, and everything else that's going on. But definitely check out Law Nation because he is really good. Sorry about that, my man. I missed that super chat. In fact, Mike, I got to go ahead and give you this.
Hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Yeah, this is actually kind of fun, kind of being able to flip these things in here. As the season goes on, I'll be able to go ahead and get highlights, and although the NFL will probably bust me on it, but highlights and interviews and things like that. So we're going to try and turn this into more of a true show, kind of take up some of the air that ESPN is leaving since they are getting rid of all the people who actually know football. One other thing I definitely want to touch on tonight was Jaylon Smith. We finally actually had him working out last week in the public, and he seems to be moving pretty well. Doesn't seem like that drop foot is affecting too much right now, although it's a little different when you're just in shorts and jersey as opposed to hitting a guy live 300 pounds and all that, or running to a running back. But that's another one of those possibly X Factor guys that if he is anything close to what he was in college, man, it's going to be on. I mean, really, really on. Let's get back to some more of your questions here. Kevin, oh man, Kevin, you must be new here. You really just don't know me at all. Kevin's question is, what do I think about getting rid of Jason Garrett as a head coach? On that note, I think I'm going to pour me a refill. Yeah, definitely need a refill on that one. I've met Jason Garrett. Jason Garrett, nice guy. Players love him. Dez tweets about how much he enjoys playing for him and everything else. But I'm not sure he has it. For whatever reason, regular season is kind of like Tony Romo. Regular season is always great. Team does really well. Win some games that they shouldn't. But when it comes crunch time, when it comes, those games where names are really made, when it's the gut-wrenching call, this doesn't seem to be there. To me, I always equate him to like a little league coach. Good job, Johnny. We'll get him next time. No matter what happens. Sometimes you need to put a foot in guys' ass. I know I'm old school. Sometimes you got to have a guy fearful of his job. Because when we've seen problems with players like Greg Hardy going after coaches, or problems in the locker rooms, or guys that are drunk driving, where's Jason Garrett? With Nolan Carroll, drunk driving, we're very disappointed. Yeah, we all are disappointed. We'll probably lose a guy for 2 games. We had a guy drunk driving kill a teammate. And your only response is, we're very disappointed? Now, maybe he's been cut off at the knees because of Jerry Jones. But I'm sorry. That warrants a whole lot more than we're very disappointed. And we'll get him next time. Now, you need to be able to give a player a look that he knows I don't want to go on that sideline. I don't want to see that. I don't want to get cussed at. I don't want to get sat on the bench. Because you got to hold people accountable. That's one thing with him. Second thing is, I feel like we've been doing on-the-job training for him the whole time he's been here. When you look at clock management problems, when you look at you're throwing more when you're up 26-3 the second half than the team that's trying to catch up. It's like you don't know how to close out games. And a lot of times I think we won games because of Tony Romo, not because of Jason Garrett. More times than not, I think we won in spite of him. But hey, what do I know?
One hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys?
Thanks, Billy, for that, buddy. That's our new thing. Whenever we get a super chat, you're getting the "How about them Cowboys?" Billy, I definitely have to say you're right on that. The anti Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick seems to always make the right calls, and it seems like Jason Garrett just can't get right on him. Tall, skinny, and ugly as hell. I'm taken, by the way. Okay, not sure what that one was, James, but okay. Um, you know what, Corey? That would be great to think about Tapper taking the sack record, but I'd like to at least just see him on the field before we start thinking about a sack record. Let's not get the horse before the cart here. He's got a long way to go before we start thinking about that one. So let's see if we can get him on the field in that rotation and stuff. And unless he ends up becoming the next DeMarcus Ware, our defense is going to have a rotation of guys. So the chances of being able to get 20 sacks in a season with being part of a rotation is going to be pretty difficult. But if he can do it, hey, I'm all for it. Little Sonic 16-0, that would be great, but I'm not sure that we're going to go 16-0. I think Awuzie will end up making the biggest impact on the team, personally. But we'll have to wait and see how they do in training camp. So it's still a little early to tell. We're still working in just OTAs, which are really not. You really don't learn a whole lot in OTAs. They'll take it up another notch this week with minicamp. They'll be putting in more and more of the offense and the defense and stuff. They'll get a little bit more contact in there, even though technically you're not supposed to be having contact. Oh man, Sandman, you couldn't have put that any better. I am sick and tired of the Packers definitely giving it to us with no Vaseline. Yeah, I'm sick of that one too. I keep going back to that game, and my God, that's one of those ones that I still put. I put on Jason Garrett a lot. A lot of people won't, but one of the big mistakes to me was Morris Claiborne played great those first 7 games when he was healthy, but then he was gone over half the season. Comes in, finally is healthy for the playoffs. You're going to start him for the playoffs? Are you kidding me? Playoffs? He couldn't bust a grape. And you did the same thing with DeMarcus Lawrence, who only had 1 sack all season. He had problems with that back all the way through. You got those 2 guys out there, 2 links that were weak. And the beginning of the game, Aaron Rodgers went out there and boom. We couldn't get any pressure on him. Our coverage stunk. And all of a sudden, we're down 21-3. That was one of the coaching mistakes. Second thing I'd look at is the team didn't look prepared when the game started. You had 2 weeks to get them ready. Maybe you should have played them that last game against Philadelphia. But to me, that's coaching. You don't come at home against a team that's been beat up and come out that flat. We won't even talk about the last drive that the team had the ball, where You spike the ball to stop the clock with 38 seconds. Okay, I got that. Maybe you're confused on there. Okay, we got 38 seconds. We want to kick a field goal. Okay, so why don't we run the best running back in football and keep him in bounds so that way we eat up some of that clock? Like my son is over here. Feed the man. Feed the man. But we pass the ball. Quick out. Cole Beasley goes out of bounds. Well, wait a minute. What'd you take off? 3 seconds? 4 seconds? And then you passed again. You took no freaking time off the clock and you stopped the clock. You gave them enough time to come back and win. It's Aaron freaking Rodgers. You don't leave him a second on the clock. That's coaching. Another thing they did wrong in that game. They got the frick away from what they do and got them there. And that is running the ball and running out the clock. Don't get me wrong. Dak Prescott had a fantastic game. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Dez Bryant lighting it up. But the problem is you left your defense on the field longer, something you weren't doing all season. So Jason Garrett gets to be too cute. Bludgeon them to death. Packers couldn't keep up with you being bludgeoned to death. So that's, to me, that's coaching. I pray, because Jason Garrett ain't going anywhere, I pray that they can get it right. Because we've got good coaches. We got coaches that get the most out of these guys. It's just that 8 and 8 years, that playoff games, those win and get in, we just don't show up on. And, God, it kills me. It kills me. Think about it. Think about, you had the Rookie of the Year quarterback. I believe the number 4 rated quarterback in the NFL. You had arguably the best offensive line in football. You had the best running back in football. Your defense was ranked number 1 against the run. And I believe there were 6 or 7 in points given up. Yet, we lost our first game at home against a beat-up Green Bay Packers. Explain that to me. I still, there was no blame to go around. Oh, well, we got from, I'm proud of my guys. They were out there competing and fighting and everything else. So, yeah. Little League coach, participation trophy. Here you go, Johnny. You were part of the team. Yeah. So, now that you guys put me in a bad mood, Coach of the Year. Yeah. Don't go. Okay, come on. Scott, you really feel that he was the Coach of the Year when you had all that and you couldn't win a playoff game? I still go back to 2014. That should have been Tony Romo's Super Bowl. Because everybody focuses in on, oh man, it was a catch, man. We got robbed because Dez Bryant caught that ball. Yeah, but you do realize it was 4th down and 1 with, again, a lot of time left on the clock for who? Aaron frickin' Rodgers. You did have the best running back in football behind the best offensive line. Wouldn't the prudent thing have been, let's run the ball, get the first down, and eat up some clock? Now, of course, everybody will say, the Jason Garrett fans will say, but Tony Romo changed the play. It's not Garrett's fault. Tony did this. If you're the head coach, then that means you are responsible for everything that happens underneath of you. Then you go in the huddle and say, Tony, we got Aaron frickin' Rodgers out there. We got 3 minutes on the clock. We don't want to score too fast. Let's get the first down, keep the ball in bounds, keep the clock rolling, get down the field, kick a field goal, win the game, and don't leave any damn time on the clock for Aaron frickin' Rodgers. That's coaching. So, yeah, not a fan of Jason Garrett as a head coach. I support him. I'm behind him. I'm praying that he can do it. But how many times do we have to keep running our head into the wall expecting a different result? Because that's what we keep doing. Because I keep saying to people last year at the end of the season, I said, to me, it's time to move on from Jason Garrett. You can't do that. He's coach of the year. I'll take Bill Belichick as a coach of the year. The guy that got another ring. A guy who didn't have his quarterback for 4 games, but still won 3 of them. We're looking at Jason Garrett, who you're telling me that got a pass for 2015, whose defense played better than the year before, who had still the best offensive line in football, had the 4th leading rusher, that you could only win 1 game without your starting quarterback. We're talking about a Brandon Wheaton who went to Houston, got thrown in the second half, won a game, and then won the next week for that team. You couldn't get him, who was on your team for 2 years, to win a game? Not one? But Bill Belichick took Matt Castle and made him look like Joe Montana. So you couldn't get that guy to even win a game? Oh, no, I'm sorry. He did win 1 game. He won against the Washington Redskins. And I'm going to have Joe Boo take some of that credit for that win. Because something miraculous happened in that game, a game that we should have lost. D-Jax, for whatever reason, took the punt return from his 10-yard line, ran backwards towards the end zone, and fumbled the ball. We kicked the field goal and win. You know who was in the end zone? Do you know who was in the end zone?
One hell of a job.
Yeah, that guy was in the end zone. I'm not saying that Joe Boo had anything to do with it. I always say good things usually happen when Joe Boo's around. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Jimmy Johnson is a freaking 70s. Okay. All right. But again, listen, Chris, you can blame it on the offensive coordinator. I'll tell you that, to me, go to the coach. The head coach should be dictating, listen, guys, here's what we got to do in this situation. Because if you're telling me that it's Tony Romo's fault because he's calling plays, if you tell me it's the offensive coordinator, then why the frick do we have a head coach? If he's not actually making any decisions or doing anything, why do we have him? Please tell me that. I'd like to know. If you're telling me he's not calling plays and has nothing to do with calling the plays or controlling the coaching staff, if he doesn't talk to the quarterback, he doesn't work with the defense, then why do we have him as the head coach? Oh, and see here, Jackie, you bringing up the Falcons. Think about what the Falcons did, turning that team around. They were in the Super Bowl last year. They were in the gutter 2 years ago. They are in the Super Bowl. Now, granted, they pulled the Dallas Cowboys, a Jason Garrett, because all they had to do in that 4th quarter was run the ball a couple times, kick a field goal, kill out some of the clock, and go home with a win, because they would have been up 2 scores. New England wouldn't have had enough time to come back. But what did they do? They kept passing the frickin' ball. Get sacked, out of field goal range, end up punting to New England. They go downfield, score, tie it up, win it overtime. I remember sitting there next to my wife at the Super Bowl after all the Falcon fans had been going crazy the first half and then basically just turning into zombies in the second half in disbelief. I turned to her and said, I feel like I'm watching the Dallas Cowboys. I said, they're going to lose this game. And damn if they didn't. So take that lesson. Carlos B., the homosexual. Okay, I must have missed something that's going on in here. Yeah, you tripping like 12-4. Okay. Dak will throw 20. Oh, Lordy. Chlorine bleach, you must be drinking the bleach. Dak will throw 20 picks. What do you think? He's Eli Manning now? I don't think so. Morris Claiborne. Okay. Man, these comments are rolling through so fast it's hard to keep up. Oh, Marcelo, even a little league coach knows even better. Oh man, damn, you're cold. Yeah, chlorine bleach has actually been away for a while, so the troll has come back. Well, what's happening, Raymond? Unfortunately, started late tonight. My wife ended up coming actually early. I thought I was actually going to pick her up at 11 o'clock tonight, but her train came in early, so I had to go to DC and get her, and that kind of kicked us back. And for you guys, I know that you've been getting a lot of alerts and stuff with the live stream and all that. I apologize. Don't mean to keep you guys chasing around. Working on upgrading the system and everything else. Hopefully tonight the picture on here quality is a little bit better. Although that may not be a good thing because now you're seeing the real me, which is not good because not everybody's good for high def. But we're going to be able to do a whole lot of different things and stuff, and I'm really excited. And like I was saying about this bad boy, this is going to be the bomb. We are going to have a great time. We're going to have some great coverage and everything else. But we're getting close to 11 o'clock here, guys. And I have to get up early because, as they always tell me, don't quit your day job. And I haven't. So, unless I hit the lottery, I got to get up and go to work. And I don't think I'm going to be hitting the lottery. So we're going to have to go ahead and end this thing. I appreciate each and every one of you guys that have shown up in here. I appreciate you guys all bearing with me. Sandman, our OTAs, unbelievable. Everybody's there. Everybody's healthy. This is the first time in forever that we're not sitting here dealing with Dez Bryant coming back, from a foot injury or whatever, or Tony Romo from back surgery and all that. To have all of these guys practicing right now, getting these 9 days of OTAs in here, mixing with the rookies and stuff, getting the whole team on the field is going to be incredible. And I think it's going to help us start out the season really, really quick. When you look at some of the other teams that have no shows and things like that, it's night and day going to be different for our Dallas Cowboys. Forget what you hear from ESPN and whoever's left from ESPN talking about well, thank you, Michael. I'm glad to appreciate it. Michael, we're going to give you a little. I haven't gotten the shirts in hand just yet. I'm not a no. Sarah is definitely not a dude. Sarah is a very beautiful woman. So whoever said that she's a dude, you must need some glasses, buddy. You better not be messing with Sarah because I'll ban you in here if you mess with my girl Sarah or Jackie or Letitia. So don't mess with the ladies. I don't want y'all chasing my girls out of here. But anyway, I was saying that definitely these guys are playing for each other. Terrence Williams could have taken more money elsewhere. He could have gotten an extra $2-3 million a year. But he wanted to stay here in Dallas and finish the job. And I'm telling you, that kind of stuff is genuine and is going to pay a lot of dividends. So now, anyway, I am going to go ahead and end this. Good night, Jackie, Barry, Sarah, Oren, Little Sonic, Booze Daddy. Booze Daddy's always been there. Thanks for all the support. How about them Cowboys? I'm still figuring out where I'm going to put up the sign. Booze Daddy, you'll definitely see it when we do the show next week or on Friday. Dr. Blue, take it easy, man. Carlos B, Holy Ways. Our Eagle Trolls in the house. How you doing tonight, man? How's them Eagles doing there, buddy? Scott, Allen, Cool Gamer, James Snyder, Raymond. Boy, it's hard to leave all you people. Jeez. Kevin, Barry, All of you guys have a great week. And any news that breaks in the Dallas Cowboys, I'll do my best to make sure that you guys get it. Have a great night, and I will see you soon.